Hey, this is Joel Amer, Inflatable Office and Event Office. I wanted to give you a quick guide on the basics of SEO. This stuff is really low hanging, easy stuff to do. So make sure you've got these basics done. And if you're wanting to hire us to do this, or you want us to take over your website SEO handling, we also offer paid services for that, where we will track your ranking progress in various keywords and cities and make sure that they're moving up on a regular basis. So, just a couple things that are really easy to do. First, you log into your site or your IO account, go to settings, categories, make sure you've got an image and a description for every single one of these. This goes right onto your website and it helps with SEO. Ideally, you're also putting in keywords in various ways, right? So for this one, bounce house rental, inflatable bounce houses, make sure your description has some of that stuff in there. So do that for all of those. Next, if you don't already have one, make sure you get a Google My Business profile account set up. It only takes a few minutes to set up. They'll mail you a postcard. You'll get it in a few days to verify your address. Make sure you do that. And when you're setting it up, you can define the cities that you serve. So let's say, for example, you serve all of Ohio. You don't want to just put down Ohio as the location. You want to also list the major cities: Akron, Cleveland, Columbus. If, say, you service only a smaller area, then you want to drill down even farther and say, well, I serve just Akron, but I also serve these different suburbs. If the list that if it's included in that service list, make sure you've selected it. So you can do up to 20 different cities. So you don't obviously have to do them all, but try to get the major ones that are in your area that you service. Okay, next, we can automate Google review collection. So when you set up your Google business profile on the dashboard, there's a link that says get your review form. Click on that. Click on get my link. Then come back into IO. You can go to settings. Let's see here, general preferences. Here you can go down to this review section, type in Google, paste that link in here. That will send people to your Google review. For the weight, you can just put 10 down and minimum rating of 4. That way, if they give you a good review, it'll collect that in Google. The next step after you save that is you'll go to Email Center. You'll find your customer thank you email right here. Make sure it's active. If it looks like this, hit load in default. So it looks like this, and that's it. So if the customer chooses a 4 or a 5 star, it'll send them over to your Google and save that. All right. The next most important thing to do, let's go over to your website. Let's take a look at this one, for example. So you want to pick a keyword that you're focusing on, whether it's bounce house rentals or water slide rentals or whatever it is. You need to make sure it's mentioned. So if I hit Control F on my keyboard and I type in bounce house rentals, I can see how many times it's mentioned on the page, right? It should be mentioned at least once, if not twice, ideally in headers like this as well. So you'll have to go through, you can hit edit with Elementor, and you can edit a few paragraphs, a few spots on the page to make sure it's in there. Next, you want to make sure it's in the title as well. This title here, you can edit pretty easily by going back to the dashboard, clicking on settings and going to general. And right here is these two together combined to make your page title, your homepage title. So typically you want to have your company name here, and then you want to have your city and state listed as well. And then down on this one, you can put 1 or 2 keyword phrases. Now, you don't want to stuff it full of them. Ideally, you focus on just 1 or 2. You probably don't want it to be a whole lot longer than this. This is also what shows up in Google when people see your company name listed. Don't go too crazy with it, but just pick a favorite and do it something like this. Okay. Next, we want to make sure that your phone number, email, and address is listed somewhere on your website, right? So we've got phone number and email here at the top, and then also in the footer, we've got phone number, email, and address. So it's important that those match your Google business profile as well as on your website. And then also, there's one other section here that's important to do it. If you have Yoast installed on your site, you go to search appearance, make sure you've got that same company name here under organization, and then you can define your logo here by hitting upload image, and then save. So those are the basics. Those are the things that we do on every site that we have an SEO client for. So we sell SEO services. If you go to inflatableoffice.com and click websites and then click on SEO services, you can get more details on what we offer. But like I said, those steps that I just went over, the first thing I do. After that, we get into a lot of other more advanced things like making sure your site's performing well, making sure that we're tracking the rankings to watch your improvement over time. And so if you're a brand new company and you haven't had an established site, you can expect it to take anywhere from 3 to 6 months to start seeing good results in Google. After doing work, it just takes longer. If you've already got an established site, it's a lot faster, more like 1 to 3 months. You should start seeing progress. But yeah, if you choose to hire us to do it, that's the first things we'll go through. And after that, we'll start writing more content for your site, making sure it performs well, adding additional pages and content to your site, and adding backlinks and mentions of your company on the internet. So like I said, get the basics done. If you want to get farther and go faster, you can hire us to do it. And we can do this stuff very quickly. So thanks for your time.